Hello my soccer for a review of round 25 in the Austrian Bundesliga. It had the Super Sunday with two absolute top games and actually quite some interesting results in there as well. The championship is now tilting towards one particular team, Sturm Graz, who got a huge win in Salzburg, while Rapid Vienna actually got the first win in the playoff round after beating Djurgårdens away from home. Maybe this result really gave them a boost. On the bottom, LASK get another rather unconvincing win, but it's the third win in a row. They haven't conceded a goal in the playoff yet and are 8 points clear without really stretching them too much. Actually, the community is more or less thinking, yeah, these were not great performances, but 9 points. And of course, they played in pink. I decided to wear the pink jersey. But that's the smaller story in the qualification rounds. The big story is, of course, that it's super tight in there. I think Hartberg is also safe, but then there are 4 teams within 3 points because everything changes again. We have last place back to Altach, so that makes it rather exciting. However, there could be another wrinkle in there, because on Friday we also got the licenses dished out for the next season, which basically say, are you capable of running the next season in the Bundesliga? And while this shouldn't be a problem, it very often is. This time, all the teams got the license except for one, and no, it's not Austria Wien, who were teetering on the brink over the past few years. It was Austria Klagenfurt, and there were already some rumors that it might not work out. They say they have the necessary guarantees and so on. However, the Bundesliga said otherwise, so we have to wait now for next week whether they will get the license in the second round or they have to go to the third instance to get the playing license. If they won't get it, and they didn't even get it for a second league, they might get out of the league, which means that, the relegation battle is already settled on the green table, as we say here in Austria. However, at least also in the second league, everyone got the license, so we have a team that will be promoted that actually will be able to play in the Bundesliga, and same thing goes from third to the second tier. Not something that I'm talking about here. So those were the interesting news off the pitch, but let's review the action on this round on the pitch. Wolfsberg remain unbeaten in the playoff, and after 2 draws to start the playoff, they go to Linz and win at Blau-Weiß Linz 2-1. After being dominant in the first half, taking already a 12-minute lead through Tiano Ballo and missing multiple chances in the first half to double up that lead, they actually got packed back because Blau-Weiß Linz made some adjustment, and Conor Noss actually got the equalizer already in the 49th, and then the game ebbed and flowed. However, Didi Kuba made the right adjustments, brought on Koicek, who then assists Sukic in the 76th minute to give Wolfsberg the 2-1 winner. Nwaiwo then got sent off a straight red card for putting his hand on the opponent's neck, and so it were some nervy moments, but in the end Wolfsberg deservedly got the 3 points. Last week, GRK fell into last place and they promptly handed back to Altach with a 1-0 home win in a rather even game that probably would have deserved a draw. The winning goal came through a Moderna penalty. Guess the penalty was alright. However, Altach also did have their chances. In the end, much celebrated first win for GRK under new coach Feldhofer. It felt very much like a family reunion when Hartberg visited LASK. It was Hartberg A against Hartberg B because 5 squad players of LASK used to play at Hartberg, a few even last season. With Markus Schopp, you have the coach that you got from Hartberg, and there are also some staff members that were at Hartberg. So Hartberg A against Hartberg B, if you would like. It was Hartberg A that dominated early on, put some pressure on the LASK defense, who had again some trouble playing it out from the back. And it was only through Toby Laval and some bad finishing by Hartberg that LASK survived the opening minutes. However, then came the time of Robert Schul. It was Andrade who intercepted a Hartberg attack, played it over to Flecker, who then along the midfield line plays it over to Schul, who directly passes it deep to Entrup into his run. A perfectly timed ball. He just touches it. It's into the Hartberg goal, and it's 1-0 LASK bit against the run of play. I gotta say, he of course duly non-celebrated. Afterwards, the game was a little bit more level. There was a great chance by Jedru who tried to lob Laval, but Laval just took it out of the air. And then also Schul had a great free kick that just went a little bit wide. So maybe LASK had more of the ball, but Hartberg were a little bit more dangerous. But still, LASK with the one good chance converted. Second half, a little bit better from LASK. I gotta say, they missed a good chance when Entrup and Danek were not on the same page. Danek more or less taking out Entrup in the process, and it went a little bit wide. But Hartberg did have the chances as well. And again, it was the route that was thwarted by Laval. But honestly, I felt much safer in the second half, and when Diarra was sent off for a second yellow card, the first one was for a tackle on Laval that was already on the border, the other one was then for a tactical foul. And then I kind of felt safe. I didn't think that Hartberg will do anything. In fact, I expected a second LASK goal that never came. So again, not convincing, but third win in a row. You have now 8 points cushion to Hartberg. So I think you better win this round now. However, the maddest game of the round came in Innsbruck, where WSG Tirol took on Austria Klagenfurt, and opening exchanges again rather even. Tirol have not really scored many goals this year. They didn't even get a win in 2025. Well, they get their first win, and an emphatic one at that. Definitely helped by defensive errors, because 4 of the goals the Tirol scored can directly be attributed to errors by the Klagenfurt defense. For instance, Valentino Müller opens the scoring after a cross in where he is the smallest player in the box. He gets the header off, and it is 1-0 for Tirol. And then just 4 minutes later, Getzos completely misses a long ball, and Skrubo can run free on goal, 2-0. Right after the half, Diarra adds a third when Nitzvik pulls one back, but then Skrubo again, very tacit defending, makes it 4-1, 5-1 through Naschberg, and 69th. The game is done and dusted only in garbage time. Klagenfurt add 2 more to make it an incredible 5-3 final scoreline. The most goals scored in any Bundesliga match this season. The Super Sunday in the Austrian Bundesliga started out with the top game of the round already at 2:30, and a major win for Sturm Graz, beating Salzburg 2-1 away from home with a man less to boot. Early stages on, Sturm Graz had one good chance, a wide-range shot that hit the post, and Salzburg actually opened the scoring with the first chance of the game when Vertessen finds Dagim, completely forgotten by the Sturm Graz defense, 1-0 in the 32nd minute. And just a few minutes later, a penalty was given that then was called back in the end. I could see it going either way, to be honest. However, at halftime, Sturm Graz made some small changes, and it immediately worked. They pressed Salzburg high and earned a penalty that Kiteishvili in the 48th minute converts. And you thought at that moment, yeah, maybe advantage Sturm Graz, but that was taken swiftly away because Vertessen was running onto the Sturm goal and was brought down by Wüttrich. Straight red card for denying of a clear goal scoring opportunity. So everything going for Salzburg. Sturm Graz still pressing high, and a ball was just kept in play. It still is cleared by Salzburg, but kind of clumsily so, falls to Kiteishvili on the edge of the box, who just unleashes a laser up in the top corner in the 70th minute. And honestly, there was really not much coming from Salzburg. Sturm Graz very routinely got those 3 points home. A major win for them. That could be the win that actually will hand them in the end the championship again. And then we had the little matter of the 345th Vienna Derby, this time played in Rapid Stadium, and again no away fans due to the ugly scenes that we saw earlier this season. And it was a must-win for Austria Vienna, because Sturm Graz had won if they wanted to stay in the title race. And for Rapid, they had not won in the playoff round so far, but they had won in the midweek. And buoyed by that, they hit a nice counterattack, intercepted it. Then Bellio plays it over to Seidel, who actually miscontrols it a bit, but with the second touch, puts it in the net between the legs of an Austria defender and goalie Shahin Radlinger. And from that moment on, it was all that Rapid wanted. They could sit a little bit deep, hit Austria on the counter, and Austria Vienna, yes, controlled the game but had some hard time creating chances. There was one by Maurice Malone where he could probably do a little bit better, but overall it was Rapid that had more chances, and with some luck they could have even led by 2-0. In the second half, Rapid came out even a little bit more and put Austria Vienna under pressure, who held tight. Alexander Dragovic, who actually was originally suspended for his derby, but there was a protest and he could play, kept the defense kind of tight, but still Rapid were the better team. And they get the second goal through Sangaré after just Luis Schaub and Burgstaller, who now also came back in the Bundesliga, came on, and 2 minutes later Schaub plays it to Sangaré, who slaloms through the Austria defense, unleashes a shot, and to the surprise of everyone, it goes in. And that killed off the game, and Rapid get their first win in the playoff. Austria Vienna have not scored now in 3 games in a row and have 3 pretty big games coming up. So as I've already mentioned, Sturm Graz have now a 3-point lead on top of the table and a 5-point lead to Salzburg. It was a major win for them. Suddenly it seems like the defending champions will also be the new champions again. Yes, Sturm Graz have not been convincing, but maybe they're finding form just at the right time under new coach Jürgen Säumel. Austria Vienna, the 3-point cushion maybe is not the big problem. I think the big problem for them is that cup loss to Hartberg really hurt them so much that they're not finding form. I mean, 3 games without scoring a goal, defensively sound, but you need to also get it offensively done. Salzburg, I still don't quite want to count out, but it was a real statement win that Sturm Graz unleashed on them. And then we have to see whether Wolfsberg or Rapid can get into the picture. If both of these go on a run, and now for Rapid the schedule opens up because they played all the top 3, maybe they could get themselves back into a potential title race, or maybe into the race for the second spot, at least on top of potentially qualifying for a semi-final in the Conference League. On the bottom, LASK more or less already in play. I mean, it's an 8-point cushion. It's really, really comfortable at the moment. So I think you can just experiment from now on. And I hope that many in the fan base will actually accept that part. And then we have to see for the others. I mean, on the bottom, from Tirol, who go now from an 11th spot all the way to 9th to Altach, it's really only 2 points. I mean, any one of these can get relegated. And yes, there's the asterisk that Klagenfurt could be denied the license. But this is a real shootout, and I've been surprised how well the games in the qualification round have been so far, because it's all to play for, but those teams are playing relatively well. The next round is played on the Easter weekend. Never a weekend where I really enjoy it being played. LASK at least play on Friday evening against WSG Tirol. We played them not too long ago. We won in the last minute. I expect a real hard-fighting Tirol team, but it's the other games that really count, with a head-to-head between Klagenfurt and GAK, and Altach really need to back up their good form as well. Then, in the championship round, Sturm Graz have a easy home against Blau-Weiß Linz, who have now 3 losses in the championship round. I think they have achieved their goal, and I don't think it's very likely that they will move out of this 6th space. But then Wolfsberg against Rapid, this is 4th against 5th. With a win for Rapid, they could move forward, but don't look past Wolfsberg, because they are really well coached under former Rapid coach Didi Küber. So I think this is definitely one to watch. And then Austria Wien against Salzburg is 2nd against 3rd. However, Austria Vienna have not won against Salzburg in a really, really long time. So Salzburg could be 2nd after that round. So those were my thoughts on what was happening in the Austrian Bundesliga on the past weekend. I'm overall content. I mean, yes, LASK is not playing great, but getting wins, that's at the moment all that counts for me. And even if it's dirty ones, I mean, an 8-point cushion in the qualification round, what more do you want? You build a whole lot of confidence, and if you should get then into the playoff and it works out right, you actually probably go in there with a slight advantage, even though you have the tighter schedule. That much is for certain. But yeah, still hurts to not be in the cup final, but on the other side, I think at the moment I am somewhat discontent. The season is one to build for the next season, and you hear a lot of rumors already how the squad will be reshuffled. So I guess this is where the focus should be right now. Don't expect too much. I mean, it's a write-off, at least for me. It's not a write-off though if it goes for the battle for the championship, and of course going down. I think this is the real battle in the league. Any case, please let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Give me a thumbs up if you enjoyed this video. Subscribe to my channel if you want to see more videos like these. Talk to you soon about more things in my Austrian Bundesliga universe. Bye! Hey there, I really hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, here are some videos and playlists that you may enjoy too. Also, please consider subscribing to my channel and hit the little bell icon so you get notified whenever something happens in my soccer universe. And with that, have a wonderful day. Bye!